Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone's had a great day today so far, as always. Tonight, guys, I just thought I'd jump on and do a little bit of a mixture, really. Obviously, I would have loved to have got a match review out last night after the Everton game, but obviously it was late. I had to be up early for work this morning, unfortunately, so I didn't have time to get one out by the time I'd got home. It was about 20 past 11. So obviously I had to get my beauty sleep for work today, which I was really knackered for, by the way. But obviously there's the Everton game that we need to go through. There's some transfer news that's been circulating in the Leeds United sphere today as well. And I just want to address some comments made by a certain Angus Kinnear in last night's programme notes as well. So stay tuned for that. Just before I get into it, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Share all of the thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And yeah, let's get into it. So we'll start with a brief review of the Everton game last night. Obviously, it did finish 1-1 at Ellen Road. Yeah, I think a draw was probably fair in essence. I think, look, I've seen quite a few Leeds fans saying that we were really good, and I've seen others say that we were really poor. I'm kind of in the middle. I think first half we were really poor. If I'm being honest, I expected a lot more from us in that first half. I expected a bit of a backlash, a bit of a natural reaction from getting beat at Brighton in the way that we did. Yeah, Brighton are a good side, but I just don't think we really showed up for 60, 70 minutes in that game. So I expected a big reaction, especially, it's against Frank Lampard's Everton. There's history there. I thought Ellen Road would be a lot more pumped. It was pumped, don't get me wrong. I expected it to be a little bit more hostile towards Lampard. It didn't really get going until the second half. Did those sort of chants, and it was a bit of a weird atmosphere. And I think that basically started from something that we'll get on to later, which is Angus Kinnears' comments in the programme. But look, the game as a whole, I think for the second half performance, we probably did deserve a win. I thought the referee was shocking. And again, I feel like I say this on a lot of uploads, but it is true. Anybody who watched that game, whether you're a Leeds fan, Everton fan, whoever fan, Jordan Pickford at one point took about 70 seconds to take a goal kick. A minute and 10 seconds to take a goal kick. Every time it was going like that with the ball, making sure it was like hard enough, and then he kept putting the ball down and just going like that to team all time. And the ref was going like that, but then didn't really do anything. He didn't get booked. They had a few players that did get booked, but none for time wasting, which I found absolutely absurd. Like, are you joking? The officiating in this league is absolutely shocking. If I'm being honest with you, how Pickford didn't at least get a warning. The ref didn't even have a word with him, and yet we only got 4 additional minutes in the first half and 3 at the end of the game. It should have been about 10 in each half. Jesus. But anyway, aside from the awful officiating in the game, first half, obviously, we start off quite shaky, in my opinion. I thought Everton had a game plan, which was get the ball to Anthony Gordon and let's hope for the best. You could just tell that they were always looking for him. I felt we coped with him quite well in the opening stages. But then obviously he does manage to break the deadlock and put Everton a goal up in about 17, 18 minutes. Llorente should do better, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, it was how it got played through. He just mistimed it." No, if you watch it back, he jumps over the ball. He jumps over the ball. I'm not saying he meant to, but you're a Premier League centre back. You're an international centre back. At least make the effort to try and clear that ball, even if you just put it out for a throw, anything, a corner, even just anything. Get it cleared. Goes straight through his legs. Anthony Gordon has an easy finish. Can't really blame the keeper for it, if I'm honest. Meslier had a good game, if I'm being totally honest. Can't blame him for that. And obviously, Leeds find themselves a goal down, and I think even the Everton fans were in shock, who were in quite loud voice for the majority up until we equalised, I thought. Um, Not a right lot to go through really in the first half other than that. I thought Leeds were average at best in that first half. Obviously, Rodrigo goes off with a shoulder injury and Gallart needs to come on. Again, we'll be addressing that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. And yeah, we go into the second half a lot better, a lot brighter. The passing was better. I thought the intensity increased. I thought in the first half, likes of Harrison, Aronson were finding it difficult to get into certain areas. But then we did equalise through Luis Sinistera, who did get his first start last night. Really good goal. I thought it had deflected in the ground, but then I've seen it back and it just catches Pickford flat-footed. The corners last night, I just want to address as well. Like, why can we not beat the first man from a dead ball? Like, you professional footballers, from a dead ball, I expect the ball to at least get in the box. You don't know where it could drop in the box. Get it in the box. You know what I mean? Just get it in the box. How hard is it? Aronson and Harrison both go over to the corner, which I think's bizarre anyway. But they both go over and they're both like this, talking to each other. What are they talking about? Because they're just not even beating the first man. And then when they did, two Leeds players both went for the same header and both completely missed it. It just didn't work. Set pieces, we've been decent this season so far. It didn't work last night. And obviously, in the end, we did hold out for a draw. I think the second half performance, we did dominate them a lot more. We could have won the game, but I think overall, based on the first half performance and the second half performance, I think a draw was a fair result. We move on to Brentford away on Saturday, which obviously the last time that we visited their ground was the famous day that we stayed up at the end of last season. Brentford will not be on the beach for this one. They will be more up for it. They've started off a bit hit and miss, so I think they'll be wanting to put that right. But Leeds United need to be on it. Obviously, there'll be a predicted 11 out tomorrow for that. There'll be a match preview on Friday and a brief review on Saturday after the game, as I have got plans on Saturday night. But I will get a brief review out before I head out. So yeah, that concludes the review of Everton. Let's now move on to the transfer news that's been circulating. Today in the Leeds United sphere and on Twitter, and it has even been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano himself. Leeds United are apparently interested in Hwang Hee-chan and Cody Gakpo as a possible replacement for Dan James should he leave. By that statement, what I take from that is that if Dan James decides to stay, because ultimately, according to Fabrizio, it is down to Dan James himself. Apparently, he's happy at Leeds, but Spurs are in direct talks with Leeds United over a loan to buy deal. I'll be honest, people may agree, people may disagree. If we were getting Hwang Hee-chan or Cody Gakpo as a replacement, then I would happily let Dan James go. It's a signing that I don't think has 100% worked out. Don't get me wrong, he's a decent player off the bench because of his pace and he can stretch the play. But as a starter, I think now Sinistera, first start last night, first goal. I can't see Dan James being a huge part of this season unless all the strikers are injured and he has to play up front again. The good thing about Hwang Hee-chan and Cody Gakpo is that they can play centrally as well if needed. So they could be used as a striker option if Dan James is to go. But then there's part of me thinking, just keep Dan James and get a striker. Just sign Gakpo or Hwang Hee-chan anyway. Marsh confirmed, I think, last night, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe he confirmed that he is interested in Hwang Hee-chan. If he's that interested in him, he's worked with him previously. He's a decent player. He's fairly proven in the Premier League to a degree. Then get him in. If it's a good price, apparently we've made an offer of 17 million that has been turned down because I think the payment structure of that did not suit did not suit Wolves. Apparently, they want to keep him. Southampton have bidded £21 million for Gakpo, and that's been turned down. Apparently, they'd let him go for 25. Leeds United should be all over that, regardless of the Dan James situation. We need to be all over that. If that's the case, 25 million, we had 40 million euros prepared for CDK. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a player for the same price as what CDK would have been, but 25 million quid for Cody Gakpo, that would be a steal. That would be an absolute steal. As I said, he can play anywhere across that front three, right, centrally or left. For me, it's a no-brainer, but obviously I'm not the one in charge. Probably a good thing, to be honest. But yeah, obviously I've seen us being linked with, is it, what's he called? The Sheffield United centre-back? Is it Egan? Don't know why we've been linked with a centre-back, if I'm being honest. I think his defensive options are quite good. I know Coops is out at the minute, but obviously we've got Pascal, who, yes, is playing at left-back, but once Firpo's back fit and can hopefully find some form, you'd expect Firpo to start at left-back with Pascal in the left centre-back role. For me, if you're going to bring Egan in, then get rid of Llorente, because that is one player that I would get out of this club, if I'm being honest. Again, I just don't rate him. If I'm being totally honest, he gives me heart attacks every time he's on the ball. His passing's woeful most of the time. He has the odd good game. He started off fairly decent, but the last two games he's been really, really suspect, and I think he was for the majority of last season as well. That's just my opinion, anyway. But yeah, Hwang Hee-chan, Cody Gakpo, either of them, regardless of what happens with Dan James, if we can bring either of those two in, then I would happily let Dan James go. But then there's part of me, keep Dan James and get a player. Rodrigo went off last night with a shoulder injury. It was dislocated and it had to be popped back in. He will be out for at least a month, I reckon. At least. Even if it's 2 to 4 weeks, he's still going to be out for a few games. So, go out and buy a striker. And I'm not saying that they're not trying in the background. They probably are. And all these people saying, we need a 20 goal a season striker. We don't. Because the ones that are out there, we cannot afford and they will not come to Leeds United. It's the position that we find ourselves in. We've just come off the back of finishing 17th last season. It's a bit of a rebuild at the minute under Jesse Marsh. New system, new players. And, I said on a previous upload once that with Leeds United style of play, it's not all about the goals as a striker. You need like a Bamford type player that can score goals, but can also link up play and bring others into play. But someone, I think, commented saying, what, by a striker that doesn't score goals. I'm not saying that. They need to be able to score goals, but also do the Pat Bamford stuff of linking up play. I thought Bamford last night, briefly as well, was really good when he came on. He linked up the player well. He looked fresh. He'll probably be starting on Saturday because of the Rodrigo injury. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that he doesn't get another injury. I just think it would be baffling that regardless of what happens with Dan James, and whether it's Hwang, whether it's Cody Gakpo, whoever, if we do not bring a striker in, it's completely baffling, in my opinion. And it's playing with fire a little bit, I think. It's risky. A left back as well, but I think that's a position that we're definitely not investing in. So if it isn't going to be a left back, then get a striker in ASAP, Leeds. Come on, please. And then we'll finish on the Angus Kinnear comments then. So, as you're all aware, Angus Kinnear made some comments in his programme notes last night, which has rattled quite a huge section of the fan base. I wouldn't say it's rattled me, but it's baffled me. Just about the striker situation. Apparently, Leeds United have 2 senior international strikers and 1 striker who is regarded as the best up-and-coming young talent in the league. Right, Angus. Let's just take a step back. We've got Patrick Bamford, who, yeah, had an amazing first season in the Prem, but it was an anomaly, was that season, because he didn't get injured. I think he missed one game all season, 1 or 2 games, which for Bamford is really good. Scored 17 goals, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. Senior international, he played 45 minutes against Andorra and then got injured. Senior international. Then he's on about Rodrigo as being a senior international, Spain's number 9. When was the last time Rodrigo played for Spain? And even when he did, when was the last time that Rodrigo played as Spain's main number 9 up front? And then Joe Gellart. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Joffe. All our fans love Joffe. He's got an amazing future, and one day he will be a regular number 9 for Leeds United in the Premier League. But is he the best up and coming young talent in the league? I mean, he's up there. I'd say he's like top 10, top 5 maybe, but he's definitely not the best. Now, for me, the board are either telling him that we're skint, and that rather than admitting that we're skint, you've got to come out and make it sound like it's better than what it is, or he genuinely believes what he put in them notes, and that is true. He basically said as well that unless an opportunity arises, that Leeds United will not be making any moves in this window. I think if Dan James goes, we definitely bring someone in. If he decides to stay, I don't think we bring anyone in, personally. Obviously, the deadline ends tomorrow. Is it at 11 o'clock? I'll be keeping an eye on it. But if we get a tweet saying don't go to bed yet, then oh my God. But I'm saying that, but I won't go to bed. I'll wait, won't I? Like we all will. If we see a tweet like that, we'll wait because we'll have that glimmer of hope that something's going to happen. Yes, Rafinha was bought on the deadline and he turned out to be unbelievable. I just can't see out like that happening in this one, guys. I really can't. I really, really can't. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, guys. Hit me up in the comment section down below with all your thoughts and opinions on everything that we've covered in today's video. It is slightly longer, but I just thought I'd cover a few things. As I said earlier, I'll be back with predicted 11 for the Brentford game tomorrow, match preview on Friday, and then a brief review on Saturday. Basically, guys, it's my birthday on Tuesday, the 6th, yeah. So I'm going out for like a family meal on Saturday because for my birthday next week, I am in Liverpool for a few nights. As much as I don't really like the team and the fans and stuff, the place is a really good night out. So yeah, I'll be there for a few nights. I'll probably take a break from social media and YouTube and stuff for a few days. It'll be nice. But yeah, so I'll be back with a brief review of the Brentford game, obviously on Saturday. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this video, guys. So make sure that you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. We're almost at 2K. Please, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me if you could show some support. And I'll see you in the next upload. Cheers.